Good morning. Good morning and welcome to First Parish in Concord. I am Reverend Liz Weber and I am your Minister for Pastoral Care. Whether you're here in person, on Zoom, from home, or watching later on YouTube, it's really good to see you. Welcome and good morning. If you are online, please feel free to participate in the chat, and I'm trying a brand new thing, which is I've got you on my phone. I can see the chat as we go through our service today. We will cross our fingers that the Wi-Fi and my battery life hold up, and we'll see how it goes. If you're here in person and you have questions about accessibility, please see one of our ushers or any worship staff leader. We can help you out with that. Our COVID precautions are masking in the building, distancing as you wish, and increased ventilation. Getting some of that good spring, summer-ish breeze in our midst. It feels nice today. We are glad to be a highly vaccinated community. Thank you for doing your part to keep one another safe. We have a special guest musician today who's here all the way from Virginia Beach. John Dixon is here. He is an organist and a composer. He'll be offering a concert this afternoon, but you'll also hear his music throughout the service. Eric is playing his pieces, and John himself will play one of his pieces for our Postlude. Welcome, and thank you, John. We also have Ken Langer here today. Ken, can you just give a little wave? In the back corner there, Ken is going to be our summer minister this year. Welcome, Ken. I'm thrilled that you are with us and glad that you will be here over the next couple months. Ken is a recent graduate of Star King School for the Ministry, our Unitarian Universalist Seminary out in California, and we're so glad you're here. He lives over in Maynard and has lots of music directing experience as well. Our call to worship is from Margaret Keep. As surely as we belong to the universe, we belong together. We join here to transcend the isolated self, to reconnect, to know ourselves, to be at home, here on earth, under the stars, linked with each other. Howard has our chalice lighting.
Each week when we gather, we light the symbol of our faith. It is a flaming chalice. For us, it is the flame of truth and knowledge. It is a beacon of joy and of peace and of hope. It is the flame of love, and we light it knowing that it connects us to Unitarian Universalists, not only in our country and our state, but around the world. And so we do so each week, lighting the beacon of our faith. I invite you to read along with the response that's printed in your order of service. O flame of our faith, open our hearts and fill our bodies and souls with persistent strength, enliven our spirits and engage us deeply in this life of ours, this sacred, essential moment now. I invite you to find a gray hymnal in the pews near you. We're going to open to number 323 and sing Break Not the Circle, number 323. And as you stand, let's all look at the camera that's in the balcony and wave to the folks at home. So please rise, turn to number 323, wave to the folks at home, and we'll sing together.
Break not the circle.
be seated. Our reading is from Reverend Aaliyah Kemmler. She is my colleague over in Groton, but she wrote this early in her ministry about one of her first churches, maybe even her internship congregation. This is one of the first of many times that I imagine God looking up or down or over or out at us from wherever God sits on Sunday mornings, slightly amazed and maybe at a loss for words because we are so funny and wonderful and odd all at the same time. In these moments, I imagine God as a sturdy old woman with her hands on her hips, or perhaps a rabbi pulling his long white beard. I imagine God shaking their head and saying, "What in the world are they doing over there?" But I also imagine a God who is touched and a little honored by our efforts, however halting, to worship and to give praise. I imagine a God who is moved by our attempts to care for one another and to name the things we know as holy. There's a warmth in this congregation that is new to me, a simple friendliness that shines through the fumblings and failures, a love that makes the ragged edges smooth. I have always wanted to believe that our mistakes aren't the most important parts of us. I have always wanted to believe that kindness and compassion matter more than anything. I sense I can learn this here.
I'd like to invite you now to turn to responsive reading number 468. That's 468 in the gray hymnal. We'll read it responsibly. I'll read the plain type, and Howard will lead you in the italic. There he is. We need one another. We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted.
We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid.
We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to our best selves again.
We need one another when we would accomplish some great purpose and cannot do it alone.
We need one another in the hour of success, when we look for someone to share our triumphs.
We need one another in the hour of defeat, when with encouragement we might endure and stand again.
We need one another when we come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey.
All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us.
I was recently making small talk with a stranger. Regular old small talk, nothing exciting on the surface of things. But it was a real emotional roller coaster. We started with the familiar routine, who are you, how long have you lived in the area, and then the predictable, what do you do for work? Well, religion is a little bit of a fraught topic, so I never know how people will react. Here's where the roller coaster starts. Felt a little nervous. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm clergy." She asked what faith tradition I serve. Unitarian Universalism. "Oh," she said, "I love UUs." My nervousness shifted to relief. This wasn't somebody who was going to leap to the wrong assumptions about my politics based on the fact that I love church. And I wasn't even going to have to give a spiel about what Unitarian Universalism is. Excellent. She then told me how she had been raised in a conservative religious tradition that had been very restrictive and dogmatic. When she left that tradition, she found her way over to a Unitarian Universalist congregation. I felt anger that her childhood church had wounded her, and I felt warm pride that our church, not us, but our church, wherever it was, had welcomed her. I was curious to hear what she would say next. Well, it turned out that she loved us, but she didn't love us for very long. She said, "It was really my bridge out of church. I just needed somewhere to help me leave the place where I was raised. I needed a gateway out. UUs are good people, they do good work, but now I go to the gym on Sunday mornings. That's my church." My heart sank. It sounds like she could have made a really good home here in Unitarian Universalism, could have become rooted in our faith if she had stuck it out. I'm sad that she is missing out on the benefits of spiritual companions. What community will share her great joys and deep sorrows, will comfort her when she grieves? Who will help her sort through life's big questions and lead a life of principle and intention? Where beyond her family will she find connections across the generations? Where will she go when her heart longs for ritual, for lighting candles in darkness and singing songs of gladness? We need one another. For all these purposes and more, we need one another and we need church. As surely as we belong to the universe, we belong together. We join here to transcend the isolated self. We join here to reconnect. As Carisha Longaker of Mamuse writes, "We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires." Here, together at First Parish, we tend the fires of one another's lives and the fire of our common life. We don't do it perfectly, no humans can, but we try our best to name what is holy and sacred, to care for one another, to care for our world, day by day, year by year. We are learning not to aim for perfection, but to aim for belonging, gentleness, kindness, and compassion. There is space for you here. I hope that you have found a place here where you can let your guard down, where you can let your troubles and fears, as well as your triumphs and successes, where you can find gentle hands and spiritual nourishment. All our lives, we are in need, and others are in need of us. That means that we need you too. Whether you show up eager and smiling or just barely making it through that door or to your computer, we need you and we are glad you are here. You are the only you who exists in the whole wide world. And we're better because you are here. This person I had this conversation with, I'm sad that not just that she missed out on Unitarian Universalism, but that we missed out on her. I wonder what gifts she would have brought, in what ways she would have made our faith richer and wider. And so you, first parishioners, you make our church what it is. You make our church possible. By keeping covenant with one another, by circling around on Sundays and in committee meetings and at rallies, you tend the fire of our faith. We need you. Thank you for being here. We shall be known as the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. Those seeds of change have already been planted, are always being planted. We carry nearly 400 years of history in this congregation, and change has always been part of who we are. Some of this change is exciting. During our service today, we will hold a new member ceremony, welcoming and celebrating our new members from the past couple of years. If that's you, wherever you are, welcome, and I am so glad you are here. I can't wait to see your faces and your names. Then, in our annual meeting, we will take up a vote on the 8th principle, an opportunity to make explicit our Unitarian Universalist commitment to dismantling racism and other systems of oppression in ourselves and our institutions. Some of this change is exciting, and some of this change is sad. Howard, this is my last sermon with you as our senior minister, and that makes me sad. So I want to say publicly how much of a joy it's been to work with you, and just say thank you for being such a gracious and thoughtful colleague and mentor and boss and collaborator. It's been a good 3 years. I miss you, and I wish you well. So friends, change has always been with us. And so as we say goodbye, we know that other changes are on the horizon, and we will begin to look ahead. And we can hold the goodbye and the future both at once. It's hard. I'm telling you right now, it's hard, but it's possible. It is time now that we thrive. It is time to lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead with love. We are in a great turning, both in the life of our congregation and in our society. Let us learn again to thrive. There are certainly ways we've been thriving all along. I've seen it through the pandemic and in those precious few months before the pandemic when we knew each other. I think back to nature and that visit from our friends from Transylvania who were in the music troupe. And then I think of how we pivoted time and again each time we've been asked so that we could be a spiritual community even when we could not gather in person, and now that we can and cannot gather in person. How we have done worship and meditation on Zoom, how we morphed owl into seagull, how worship sharing circle has shown us how to do multi-platform ministry. We have needed one another, and we have been here for one another, and we have learned to thrive. I wonder in what new ways we will be asked to grow, what new thriving we will be practicing together next. I'm here for it. I'm glad to be your minister for pastoral care, to be on this journey together, both your companion and your guide. Over the next couple of years, as we dive into the well of interim ministry, we will take stock as a congregation. We'll consider who we've been and who we are now and who we want to be next. We will reaffirm our relationships with each other and with our wider world. What a time to be alive. In this great turning, we can learn to lead in love. Love asks us to tend to the pain of our world. And the terrible truth is that there is so very much pain, born of oppression and greed. The climate crisis, the dismantling of voting rights and civil rights, and for those of us with a uterus, even the right to bodily autonomy. Corporate profiteering masked as inflation. White supremacist violence that continues to make weekly, even daily headlines. Death upon death due to gun violence. We remember the people of Buffalo, Uvalde, Tulsa, the people of every town. In the face of such violence and pain, it is time now for all to thrive. All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us. Let us learn to lead in love. Love which calls us to commit to change and to always tend this fire of commitment within our minds and hearts. For change to be possible, we need to care for one another, and we need systemic change. I know how to care for people within my reach. That's part of what we do at church, and I can do it at home just fine too. But I don't know on my own how to create systemic change, and in fact, I can't. My love alone cannot create the legal and cultural structures that will stop and reverse the harm of racism and other systems of oppression. To build those structures, we must work together. As Unitarian Universalists, as First Parish, we can follow the lead of marginalized people within our walls and beyond, showing up at rallies or our legislators' offices or wherever we are asked to go. By working together, we can live into this great turning. And so it comes full circle. We come together because we are in need and because others are in need of us. Let us be allies and accomplices for justice and liberation. And let us also be a solace to one another. Let us live into this version of church, one where we need not be perfect, but can rest in the assurance that as surely as we belong to the universe, we belong together. Can you believe in this church, in this life, and work for it? Reverend Sean Parker Dennison asks us, can you believe in a world where no one is turned away for being wrong? Can you believe in a world where mistakes are simply ways of learning? Can you believe in a place where you can feel the lightness of not knowing? Can you believe there is room enough at the table for you and for the one you call enemy? Can you believe in the improvisational nature of mystery and irrational compassion? Can you believe that training you to be a devil's advocate was a way of stealing your tenderness? Can you believe that you can get your tenderness back and become a chief collaborator with love? We shall be known by the company we keep. Let us keep good company with one another, tending the fires in our hearts and our hearths. Blessed be, and amen. Today, instead of a reflection question where you share in the chat or just in little pairs with each other, we are going to participate as a whole community together in a ritual of belonging. We haven't had a new member recognition ceremony since our pre-pandemic days, and I'm so excited that we are going to do one now. If you are a new member, there's an insert in your order of service that has the script, and we'll actually all need that. But if you're a new member, take it and come on up to the front along with Chuck, Sarah, and Howard. And if you're on Zoom, everything that you need will be in the chat.
All right, we have some new members here in the front of the church, and I know that some are joining online. What we'd love to do is just have you say your name. I'll pass the mic along, and we'll have you say your name. And Liz will also say the names of the folks who are joining us online. So these are your new members.
Liz Ames.
Ray Andrews.
David Henry.
Nan Jeffries.
Nicole Armistead.
Sophie Wadsworth.
Suzanne Brinker.
Ted Smonjeski, and my wife Mary Rocheleau couldn't be here today.
Steve Ruzich.
And online we have Teresa Hoopsher Younger and perhaps others.
Let us join in this ritual of welcoming you into First Parish officially. We are so glad that you are here. We know that it's been a couple of years, and some of you have been active longer than others, but this is your official, very warm welcome to our congregation. Will the congregation please be ready with the insert or looking in the chat? You who have joined First Parish in Concord take an important step in your faith journey. We are glad that you have joined us. We offer you a warm welcome into the life of our congregation. May you find friends here. May you be of service here. May your spirit grow and thrive here. Welcome. We promise to make a place for you among us. We will listen to you, we will support you, and we will respect your spiritual path. The whole of our church is greater than the sum of its parts. You add much to our congregation. Welcome. We come freely and without reservation
to join this congregation. We want to add our hopes and dreams to yours. We promise to support First Parish in Concord through our time, talents, and money. We look to you for guidance, fellowship, and support. We are glad to walk with you. May each of us be mindful of the privileges and responsibilities of membership at First Parish in Concord. In our free church tradition, only voluntary membership brings a person into religious community. Like our liberal religious forebearers for hundreds of years, you, these new members, have signed and added their signatures to our membership book. They take their place in a long line of free thinkers and heretics who dared to liberate religion from creed and crown. Our heritage is richer for their joining.
Today and each day, we recommit ourselves to the work of Unitarian Universalism in our lives, our families, our church, and our world. Grateful for so many who have gone before us, we pledge ourselves to their legacy and to this congregation. Please join in giving these new members a nice round of applause. And we have a gift of a book for each of you and a flower for each of you. So the rest of you, if you see somebody with a flower at coffee hour, go up and congratulate them. All right, thank you all. You may take your seats.
Liz very beautifully wove the words of our anthem throughout her sermon, and they bear repeating. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now that we thrive. It is time to lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by Carisha Longacre, and arranged by John Hubert.
Thank you so much to the choir for the beautiful anthem and to Rebecca on the shakers. We come to a prayerful, meditative time in our service, a time in which we think of the joys and sorrows that not only we hold in our hearts, but are held by the people that we love. In a minute or two, you will have an opportunity to say names aloud into this space or type them into the chat. And by doing so, we will hold everyone who is in joy or in sorrow together. From the pastoral list, Jim R. and Nancy J. shared that their house will be undergoing repairs after it was struck by lightning last weekend. Thankfully, Jim and Nancy were not at home, and they are getting settled in their temporary housing and hope to be back at home as soon as possible. This week, Richard and Kate K must face needing to put down their dog, Holly. Holly has been a cheerful trooper, but she is at the end of her life, and we hold them all in our prayers. Victor C. successfully completed a 6-week radiation treatment for prostate cancer. He is doing well. Victor shares that he is deeply grateful for the good wishes and expressions of caring from First Parish friends. Who is on your mind? Please say aloud or type into the chat the names of the folks who are dealing with great sorrow or great joy in your life. And let us sing together, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Let us continue in a spirit of meditation and prayer with these words from Rumi, a 13th century Muslim Sufi mystic poet. These words are over 700 years old. Let them fall on you. The way is full of genuine sacrifice. The thickets blocking the path are anything that keeps you from that. Any fear that you may be broken to bits like a glass bottle. The road demands courage and stamina, yet it is full of footprints. Who are these companions? They are rungs on your ladder. Use them. With company, you quicken your ascent. You may be happy enough going along, but with others, you'll get farther and faster. Someone who goes cheerfully by themselves to the custom house to pay their traveler's tax will go even more lightheartedly when friends are with them. Every prophet sought out companions. A wall standing alone is useless, but put 3 or 4 walls together, and they'll support a roof and keep the grain dry and safe. when ink joins with a pen. Then the blank paper can say something. Rushes and reeds must be woven to be useful as a mat. If they weren't interlaced, the wind would blow them away. Like that, God paired up creatures and gave them friendship. Let us reflect in silence for a time.
Stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
Our first parish mission engages us to build community, deepen spiritually, and work for justice. At this time in our service, we offer a reflection on the ways in which our actions can shape the world. When we act in ways that support and hold beloved community, we are acting socially for the good of the whole. Sometimes this requires sacrifice, sometimes it requires courage, and always it requires love. June is a very good month to celebrate love. From my heart to yours, all of us in the LGBTQ community, happy Pride. We have our Share the Play organization this month for Pride for June is Out Metro West, and we have today Whitney here from Out Metro West to light our social action candle. Welcome, Whitney.
Hello, everyone. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
I'm Whitney Ortelic. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the executive director of Out Metro West. Thank you so much for having me today. I am actually connected to First Parish in some other ways. I was at the Walden Woods Project for 6 years and worked with First Parish and the Transcendentalism Council in several ways there. I worked with a wonderful group of people from here on the Say Their Names project a few years ago. In the 15 minutes that I arrived early, I ran into someone who I knew from when I was youth coordinator at First Parish, Stowe and Acton, and someone else from Maynard. And I talk about these connections because connections matter and community matters, and you get that. And for LGBTQ plus youth, like the ones that Out Metro West serves, connection and community are not just important, but they are often life-saving. LGBTQ plus youth show much greater risk than their non-LGBTQ plus peers of mental and behavioral risk factors. But the youth, like those who participate in programs like Out Metro West, do much better. We find this to be true when we survey our youth twice a year, that they score much better. They have much less risk of risky, harmful behavior. So another reason that community and connections matter is that we know that for when someone not in the LGBTQ plus community knows someone who is LGBTQ plus, the likelihood that they support the rights of LGBTQ plus people increase. And when they know more people, the degree of that support increases. So community and connections matter. And I know that you also are such a supportive community. I hear wonderful things about your youth groups and how supportive and welcoming they are. And I just thank you for being such a supportive community and supporting Out Metro West and the hundreds of youth that we serve each year. Thank you.
Thank you, Whitney. I can testify and say amen to that. I am not from here, but where I grew up in the 90s in Ohio, we had an organization very much like Out Metro West. I was a member there, and it was life-changing and life-saving for me and my friends. So with Out Metro West as our Share the Plate organization this month, that means that half of our weekly offerings will go to Out Metro West. It's time now for our offering, and I am grateful for your generosity for the good work both within our walls at First Parish and beyond. You can give by cash, check, text, or online at firstparish.org. Thank you. The offering will be gratefully received.
for the lovely music, Eric and John. As we come to the close of our service today, there's a lot going on after church, so I want to tell you a little bit about that. I'm guessing that the worship sharing circle is not happening because of the annual meeting. Excellent. The source for all links and information is your FP Weekly email. It comes out on Fridays. Check your email, check your spam folder. If you're having trouble getting it, just let us know here at the church. There will be coffee hour outside, so feel free to go out and get yourself some coffee. And if you're staying for the annual meeting and need a few calories, Liz Rust brought some food, so just get yourself a few calories, and we'll take care of ourselves that way. There are standing committee people out there. There's a table for cards for pastoral milestones, so please check all that out at coffee hour. And Whitney will be there as well, just circulating, so go up and say hi to her. This coming Saturday, the Women's Parish Association is happy to hold the Summer Artisans Fair. It's going to be on June 11th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It'll be here in the grounds of First Parish, and it'll be full of artisans with lots of beautiful things. Come to this fun-filled event, which raises funds for First Parish and for other charities. Next week is our Flower Communion Sunday. That's always a wonderful ritual in this congregation, so please remember to bring a flower from your garden or one that you pick from the wayside or somebody else's garden. And the last thing is that the annual meeting is today in the parish hall after the service. Those of us who are here in person can get some coffee, get some calories, check in downstairs in the parlor, and be ready for the annual meeting to start at 11:30. For folks who are joining online, there will be a Zoom link that will be published at the end of the service, or it's also an FP Weekly. We're also asking that folks who join the Zoom are members of the congregation will be taking votes that way, and that's just the easiest way to have that happen. So if you're a member and would like to join by Zoom, just follow the link or look for it in FP Weekly. And that room will be open and attended to at 11:15 this morning, so you can avoid the rush and be in the Zoom room. That's all the business, except for the business that's coming up. Let's sing together. Let's turn in the teal hymnal to number 1028, and we'll stand and sing Fire of Commitment, number 1028.
Second to find the music, because it comes in pretty quickly. Ready?
As we go to tend the fire of our annual meeting, and then go forward to tend the fires of our homes, our hearts, our wider world, may you remember that you are welcome here in all of your need and in all you have to offer. Let us continue to keep this good company with one another. Bless your hearts, blessed be, and amen. Let's join together in our benediction. The words are in your order of service and on your screen. Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return to no person evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings. Please be seated, and here's John with the postlude.